Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Here is a note to remember for all the ladies and the gentlemen in our audience. If you want a stable relationship, go buy a horse. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a real patriot to wrap up the week with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. And a good morning to you and yours. I'm Zeb Bell. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday. Already August 2nd. Deanna and I were saying, where has summer gone? Well, I'll tell you what, we've got our major sponsor to thank for everything. Of course, they've been with us for a long time. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My friend.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Doug, and I know you'll call back later. I appreciate it, old buddy. And right now, let's start things off with our weather forecast. First and foremost, brought to you by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Hello, Roger. They've got all the weed mowers, air compressors to clean out your combines. They've got jackhammers. I mean, they've got all the best of rental tools and equipment for you to finish any construction project or job. So get a hold of them today. K&R Rental in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-3122. Right now, here's Gino with the weather.
Good morning. It's time for your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron sitting in for Gina Jameson. It's still smoky. If you have respiratory issues, that is the reason today. Not going to be as hot as we anticipated. Highs around 93. Then for tonight, still a lot of smoke hanging around, a low of 58. Tomorrow, not going to be so hot. Still smoky, though. Highs around 87. Then for Friday night, areas of smoke and a low of 52. For Saturday, looking for sunshine. Highs only around 84. And Sunday, highs around 84 as well. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron.
Hey, Scotty, thank you for filling in this morning. We appreciate it. And right now, again, reminding you that K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right on the Burley-Paul Highway. You couldn't miss them. Are there to serve you. Get there early in the morning at 7 o'clock and open the doors and say, come on in for the best of rental tools and equipment. At K&R Rental, 678-3122. Hey, Merv May, come on in here for a minute.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there, here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5.
It's sale day today at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with my friends Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy. The sale that works for you. Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with a telephone number to call for cattle consignment and sale information, 678-9411. Lots of good butcher cows going through the ring today and brought in by P-Bar S Dairy, Funk Dairy, Acme Dairy, TLK Dairy, and a great big trailer line run of cattle coming in with the 10:30 sale time start today at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The sale that works for you. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I selling $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom.
I tell you what, Merv, thank you very much. And right now, folks, if you haven't had a chance to get over to the 70th annual Minidoka County Fair, I urge you to do so. My golly, they got a lot of good things planned over there, including tonight the second performance of the Junior Rodeo starting at 7 p.m. Don't forget that. They're going to have a goat show today, and they're going to have a sheep showmanship class and a 4-H poultry show in the pavilion. I mean, they got all kinds of things going on today, so don't you miss it. Absolutely going to be a lot of fun. Always is at the 70th annual Minidoka County Fair, where they're building dreams at the Minidoka County Fair. Absolutely nice people. While we have just a minute, I want to remind everybody that John Bond is having a birthday today. Today is John Bond's birthday, and John, a very talented man, and he makes the most beautiful desk pens and pocket pens, just absolutely phenomenal. And a member of our lunch bunch for a long time, and we wish him a very happy birthday. By the way, to our friends over at Ramsey Heating and Electric, we'll be talking to Rita later on this morning on this Thursday. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They open the doors at 7:30 in the morning till 5, Monday through Friday. And, you know, it's been doggone hot. And I know your air conditioner probably needs a filter change. Well, they have all those filters for you. All your heating, cooling, and electrical needs are over at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, find out more, 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Caller, good morning to you. How are you?
And a real fine morning to you too, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can't believe this is happening in America.
What's that?
Calexit. It's where they want to divide California down the middle.
Yep.
With the eastern half going to be turned over to the Native Americans.
Yeah.
Now, I know you have many friends in the Central Valley. What are they going to do? Just pack up their stuff and leave?
Well, and I'm going to ask Wheels to I'm going to ask Wheels to kind of ride the feedback a little bit. But Keith, I have talked to some of those people down there, and it's not even a laughing matter anymore as to the idiocy of this Calexit. And, you know, last night they had a real dolt on the air of Tucker Carlson. And Carlson asked him, what are you going to do? That's the same question I mentioned yesterday. What are they going to do with the ranchers and the farmers and the businesses and the communities and everything else? And basically this dolt, which he is, looked at the camera and said, well, they're going to either have to leave or they're going to be subjective to Indian rule. I mean, you want a civil war in this country? You want to fight in this country? You're going to have a big one, because I would lend all the support I can against the idiocy of what they call the Calexit.
You know, another thing that really bothers me is the word Native American.
We're all Native Americans.
Now, these people were born a long time after I was, and they call them Native Americans. Ancestors were, but they're not.
I don't like terminologies, and I don't like labels. We are Americans. Now, let's just leave it at that. I'm not going to call somebody a black American. I'm not going to call somebody a Hispanic American. I'm not going to call somebody a Japanese American. I don't believe in that garbage because all it does is segregate and hyphenate. I don't like it. I'll never use it. And in the term of the Indians in California, they themselves call them Indians. And I'm sick and tired of this political correctness. Oh, we've got to call them Native Americans.
Now, this guy was the founder of this program. They need to hang him up by his fingernails.
Well,
this guy he's a nut.
Well, it's just showing how absolutely deplorably stupid some of the people in California can be, will be, and are going to continue to be. They are absolutely, I think they've smoked too much weed in California, and the smoke has never left the building, and it's hovering over their heads. I just don't understand how they can be this dumb.
I don't either. You know, California is one of the most beautiful states in the United States, and it is being trashed upon, including the streets of San Francisco. California is, Jerry Brown he just needs to be put in exile.
Well, and I don't ever want to have the state of California in its entirety damned or condemned. And the reason I say that is because I know so many wonderful people in the smaller towns and cities, whether it's Clovis, California, Red Bluff, California, whether it's Alturas, California, whether it's Bakersfield, California, I don't care. There are just absolutely some really straight-laced, good American citizens down there. However, the left-wing kooks are the ones that get the press coverage.
You're on the spot.
God bless you, my friend. Appreciate your call. Thank you very much.
You bet.
All right. Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk about a ceremony that took place yesterday in just a moment. Right now, let's talk about Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley, and the other location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Great food all day long. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, everything. It is fantabulous. You better get in there to America's Diner. It is really good eating with really nice people serving you. And what more could you ask for? So stop in today. They are the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley. You better believe it. Rightfully called America's Diner. We want to acknowledge some of the great merchants that are inviting you in a couple of weeks to the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo, including Baker Brothers Pump Service at 103 West, 500 South of Burley. And they are the fastest and most reliable pump service company. I can attest to that. From residential pump service to water softener sales, they do it all at Baker Brothers Pump Service. Burley Veterinary Hospital. Hello, folks. Two great doctors serving all your animals' needs, both the large animals and the small animals, and they're there to serve you at 2869 Overland and Burley, 678-5509. And last but not least, Rudder Showcase, 2611 Overland and Burley. They're going to have a huge Fair Days sale, August 6th through the 18th, and it's 12 months, same as cash. Freezers and washers on sale, and dryers and refrigerators. Woo! Don't miss this at Rudder Showcase, 2611 Overland in Burley. All right, your turn. Give us a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I watched yesterday a very somber, very moving occasion, and America should be very proud of our soldiers again, and their families, again, for their fighting for this great country, the United States of America. The remains of 50 soldiers that had died in North Korea came home. And more will hopefully come home. Now, a few months ago, It looked like we were going to be on the verge of a nuclear holocaust with North Korea. And yesterday, in whatever you want to call it, I don't care, I'm not going to get into it with you. I think it was a show of good faith. North Korea did send back 50 of our soldiers. And what really miffed me is that the only network that really took the time and the effort and the staff to really put forth the image of what our soldiers had done for us and our country, fighting for us, was Fox News. That was the only one. They sent people over there to cover this. It was live coverage. And the other so-called media outlets basically gave it only lip service, if any, or I believe it was NBC. I don't want to be quoted on this, but I believe it was NBC gave them 28 seconds. Our soldiers deserve better than that, and I take my hat off. And I make no bones about it. I mean, I'll tell you what the truth is. I've got a lot of friends at Fox News, and I think they did an exceptional good job. But to the rest of the media, because of an anti-Trump attitude, 28 seconds of coverage or none? That's despicable. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There are folks out there serving you, doing jobs that you don't want to do. That's why they're in business. Yes, they're there to serve you. And so I urge you to get a hold of my friends at Dino's Septic Service. Oh, you don't want, in like 95-degree weather, you don't want to be standing out there pumping a septic tank, do you? No. And they do the sewer and sink drain lines clean and the liquid waste removal and the backhoe services. I'm telling you, they're there when you need them, and they do the job fast, fair, and friendly service. Absolutely. You get a hold of them today. In Rupert, the number to call, 436-6526. And Burley, 678-1638. Dino's Septic Service with the big truck that says, smells cargo on the way. And they are on the way to serve you. Want to also say a big shout out to Anthony over at Save on Shells. You know, I make no bones about it. I have the best advertisers and sponsors of anyone on the radio. And Anthony at Save on Shells, right there at 1027 Overland and Burley. I changed pickups and I got a different truck. I needed a different camper, and boy, did he fix me up. They can custom fit any truck on the road, and they've got those wonderful, really tough, good-looking ARE camper shells. All you need to do is get a hold of Anthony at 312-1525. This is a busy guy. Busy guy, great service. 312-1525. Save on Shells at 1027 Overland and Burley. Take it from me, absolutely the best. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. When I first heard this story yesterday, honestly, I thought, what in the world are they talking about? And then it was explained that, and pay attention closely on this because it could happen anywhere. It could happen in Burley, Idaho. It could happen in Rupert, Idaho. It could happen to our entire state. The New York Times, a very liberal rag, put out an op-ed in their paper that the state of New Hampshire, and I've been there, it is absolutely one of our most beautiful states, and quite frankly, it's one of our most lawful states. The state of New Hampshire is under attack by some people on the liberal left. Why? Because it's too white. Now, I'll let that sink in a little bit, because that's what I had. It's too white. I am not talking about snow. I'm talking about Caucasians. And this writer said that New Hampshire, which is 94% white, should start bringing in other racial and ethnic groups to diversify. Now, nobody is standing at the border of New Hampshire and saying, no, you can't come in. They're not doing any of this. It's just the way it is. Now, the surrounding states of Maine and Vermont are 95% white. Ooh, that rankles the liberals. Why? We've got to change this. I don't care what we have to do, but we've got to start bringing in other races and ethnicities. Why? We can't have white people being in control in the state of New Hampshire or Vermont or Maine. Why? We've got to change this. Why? Why? Won't people populate or go to where they want to go? Won't they live where they want to live? Caller, good morning. Help straighten me out on this a little bit.
I'm the good news for lunch guy. I don't straighten things out.
This is the yummy man.
Yep. And today we're having taco salad and mixed veggies and ice cream.
Well, there's a yummy.
Hot dogs or chili dogs and chili, I guess. And we're going to have yummy dessert tomorrow.
Okay. Now, when you said mixed vegetables or mixed veggies, do you have a little fear in your heart as to what those veggies may be?
Well, no. The reason I put that way because I don't know what it is. I don't want to say yummy vegetables.
There's no way in the world anybody in the world could accept the terminology yummy vegetables.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, we'll have something. It'll be good. Except her, and you can count on her. Now, we needed some volunteers to help in the kitchen.
Okay.
Put up the Meals on Wheels. Do about 60 of those a day, and it takes some doing to get those all together on time and get them out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, too, people can call in and buy a lunch over the phone, can't they, Joe?
Oh, yes. I'm glad you brought that up. It's open to everybody. You don't have to be a senior. Just call in before 11 or even 12, probably. They put you up a lunch to go.
All right. Well, Joe Taylor talking about the Senior Junction on Overland and Burley. God bless you. He's known as the Yummy Man. So there we go.
Have a good weekend. We appreciate you and your program.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Joe Taylor, a dear friend. Thank you very much. What do you folks think about somebody in the New York Times writing an article saying, well, gee whiz, New Hampshire's got a lot of problems. What are the problems? Well, they're too white. Now, New Hampshire has got a lot to be proud of. In the rankings, they are 4th in education, 11th in the, 11th in economy, 1st in opportunity, 2nd in crime. Oh, I have no idea why the phone gremlins are back again today. You know, it really bugs me that at times we have some of the lousiest phone service in the world, and yesterday and today have been some of those times. So we were talking a moment ago before all of a sudden, clip, we were off, about New Hampshire. What are your thoughts on this in regards to people saying, well, the states like New Hampshire, they're too white. Why, they've got to change. We can't have that anymore. And like I said, New Hampshire, one of the top states, they are number 2 in crime and corrections. That is really admirable. and 4th over all the states in the quality of life. But yet, the liberals, the left, absolutely after the state of New Hampshire, and they're going to go after Vermont and Maine because they are too white. Honestly, I want your calls and your thoughts on that. It could happen here. It could happen here. Might happen Utah. Might happen Wyoming. And they'll start criticizing and saying, well, we've got to change this. We've got to have more diversity. What are your thoughts? 436-2244. Don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, 678-1191. They are just absolutely, they're waiting to serve you. Now, I know Nick Greenwell, physical therapist, and all the physical therapists. They are excellent. They know all the exercises, and they've got the use of that hydrotherapy pool, the only one of its kind in the area. And they are there waiting right now to serve you and help you get back to being you. Number to call, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. You call them today. Sorry about that little blip that we had, not caused by anybody at the station. Just all of a sudden the phone gremlins decided to hang up on us. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I think what's behind all this is more open borders.
Oh, yeah.
Fill this country up no matter whatever the results are. And the Democratic Party is behind all this stuff. So what the Democratic Party is for open borders, which means more crime, more drugs. And where do we go from here? We're going to fill the country up with people that cannot produce anything for this country or contribute anything toward the betterment of our country?
I'll tell you where we're going, Tony, and you know it as well as I do. It's just basically that we're kind of avoiding the real terminology this morning. We're going into utter chaos, and we're going into utter destruction of our values, our laws, and our Constitution in this country.
Well, I'll tell you what the bottom line is. It's all for votes.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party to keep them in power, no matter how much damage it does to you or to me or the taxpayers. And that's where it's going.
Let me ask you something. Let's just use a little supposition here for a second. What would you do and what would you say, and please be careful on your choice of words, if you lived on the eastern half of California and the Calexit plan went through and the western half of the state was going to be controlled by the so-called elites, yeah, right, and the eastern half of the state was going to be given back to American Indian tribes, and you happened to live there, and all of a sudden you were told you either had to sell or donate your land, or you were going to be completely subservient to the Indian tribes and what they wanted to do, how would you react?
Well, I'd be kind of like the Westerners were in the days. They had to fight for their rights to get what they had to have, and this is where it's going. People are going to be forced to fight to survive because we have all this being shoved down our throats.
Yeah. Instead of trying to get along, and instead of trying to further promotional ideas and packages to where all races can live together in harmony under the flag of the United States of America as Americans, the left wants to divide and be divisive.
Well, where I grew up around blacks, whites, browns, Orientals. Most of them were very good people. And I learned not to condemn an entire race of people because we've got some bad ones in there.
That's right.
But the trouble is, you're going to fill this country up with bad people from foreign countries that contribute nothing.
Well, you've kind of hit right on the head, and to regress, and that's what it would be like if the idiocy happens in California. I mean, I hope it's nothing more than a fairy tale, but if it did happen, you'd have total anarchy, and you could not blame the people that were property owners, ranchers, farmers, business owners, community leaders, whatever. You can't blame those people if this happened to be totally upset and ready to fight.
Well, the problem is started a long time ago. You remember Curly, Larry, and Moe?
Yes, I do.
Well, Barack Obama has been added to that list as far as I'm concerned.
Now we have the Four Stooges.
Problems stem from that we have today.
I agree. I kind of like that, Tony. Thank you so much. I appreciate it like I always do. And tell Mary we said hello.
I certainly will.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Caller, I'm going to be right there. Stand by. I've got to tell everybody about Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh, they are good. There, we're done. That's all you need to know. They're good. Absolutely the best at what they do in helping you with, of course, equipment rentals and retail equipment sales. If you need something really big and heavy to get a big job done, like the Doosan loaders, etc., they've got them. You need a Bobcat excavator. They've got all the shapes and sizes right there at all three locations. Berry Equipment and Rental, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls with Eli, and the Nampa location. I'm telling you, they are the best at what they do, and they want to serve you. Berry Equipment and Rental, Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
My friend.
Hey, these Californians or the people that want to give land back to the Indians because they think they're being deprived and depressed.
Mm-hmm.
I looked into going fishing up on Fort Hall Indian Reservation, and I found out some interesting stuff about the reservation and the reservoir, American Falls Reservoir. If you're on a boat on the reservoir and you cross the imaginary line onto the Indian reservation without a permit to trespass, they can seize your boat, your fishing gear, and they pay. The Indian reservation gets paid per cubic acre foot on their land that the reservoir backs up.
Wow.
Yeah. It costs, if you want to get an annual permit to fish on the streams coming into American Falls Reservoir out of the Blackfoot area, your cost is about $250 a year for the permit.
Wow. Double wow.
And they only allow so many permits.
You know, here's the thing, and see if you don't agree with this. I am not advocating or saying, and wheels ride the gain again, I'm not advocating or saying that anything or everything or something that was done 150 years ago was right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not going to point a finger of condemnation, a condemnation, or anything else at any one group or any one particular race. Things happen in the progress of America that, yes, there's some really negative things that happen for the progression of settling America, and there were some very good things. But to go back and try to divide and be divisive and go back in history right now today is absolutely for no advantage whatsoever.
Well, that's just like saying, okay, if you are, say, a family member of Al Capone, then they could throw you in prison for what Al Capone did.
Well, then look at the remunerations that they wanted with the reparations packages to the blacks that say that their family members in years past were brought here to be slaves, and because of the many generations since, that those family members today should get all these reparations in the form of big checks. And I say to that, hooey.
I say that hooey too, but what they look back, they want the checks from the whites, but if you look back at the true history...
That's right.
Most of the slave owners were black.
That's right. But why is it... Why is it today, though, Doug, and like that story I said a little bit about New Hampshire, why is there so much anti-white or anti-Caucasian attitudes in this country today? I've never seen anything like this.
Well, look at the past administration, and that's where the seed got planted,
yes,
and watered and cultured.
Yes.
And that's where it came from. That's what they wanted to do, and they've succeeded there. Now, we're going to have to, like Dinesh D'Souza, that movie that's coming out of his fight, to get America back. Because remember what the Democrats did against Lincoln when he was elected. They went to war against the Republicans. It wasn't the North against the South. It was the Democrats against the Republicans.
I'll ask you the same question, and then I've got another call waiting, and I don't want to keep them on the line. But if you lived on the eastern half of that state of California and this idiocy went through, what would Dougie do?
Well, it'd be from my cold, dead hands.
Yeah, I kind of agree the same way. Yeah. Yep. Doug, give us your 15-second pitch. I can't live without it. Go ahead.
All righty, everybody. Let's do what we can for our seniors and our senior centers. And I challenge everybody out there, everybody, I don't care how old you are, go to a senior center and have lunch. You will be enlightened.
Absolutely. Like our buddy Joe the Yummy Man.
Yeah, the Yummy Man.
Yep, there you go.
Right.
Take care. Appreciate it. Caller number 2, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody about the Jerome County Fair and Rodeo. And, of course, PRCA Rodeo Action is going to take place in Jerome on August 7, 8, and 9. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Always a great rodeo in Jerome. And then also don't forget, connected with the Jerome County Fair and Rodeo this year, country artist Jesse G. Live in concert on Friday, August 10th at 7 p.m. right there at the fairgrounds. And that will be also military night. Bring your military ID and you get in free. Going to be great. Always is. Jerome County Fair and Rodeo, and it's August 7th through the 11th. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. You know, Dougie brought up a sore spot for me, and that is, let's just take the reservation of Fort Hall. Okay, as a car dealer, I would sell somebody a car that was a Native American, and that reservation is where they lived. If they don't make their payments, I cannot go on there and collect.
Whoa.
I cannot repossess that car unless it's off of the reservation.
Whoa.
That is so un-American. And I'll tell you what, when they've got a corrupt council, like I had, at one time I had a working arrangement with them, the people I sold cars to, that I could go to the tribal council and they would give me permission to go talk to these people and possibly repossess my property. But they changed, just like an election. They changed, and then, then it didn't do you any good to even talk to them, because you are not allowed on the reservation. If you don't get out of here right now, we're going to have you arrested.
And these are things and stories and worries that I had never even thought of. And you bring up a really good point. You as a businessman, it really hamstrings you as to the powers of making sure that you get paid for your vehicle.
Well, and the sad thing of it is there's a lot of really good Indian people.
That's right. Absolutely agree with that.
When they would come on my dealership, I automatically have this blind that goes down, because I am blinded by the fact that if I sell something to these people, I will probably not get paid for my property.
Wow. And
so then I have to discriminate because I have to protect my business.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought this up, and I don't want to make this conversation seem like it's a racist conversation, but why do we run away from facts and stories of fact in this country, and we let the left run over us and call us racist and homophobes, and they let us call them bigots and hate mongers? What needs to be discussed are the true facts, and that's exactly what we're laying out here this morning. Keith, I appreciate your call. Thank you so much.
One more comment.
Fast.
When people want to come in here one at a time, we'll welcome them. But when the government puts them in here 50 and 100 and 1,000 at a time, I say no. Okay,
Keith, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Don't forget, on Tuesdays at 9:46, we have the Ag Minutes brought to you by Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland in Burley. They make your life easier. They made my life easier. I got a brand new tractor from them. Stoats Equipment Company, absolutely talking about ag events and the people that help agriculture right here in southern Idaho. Stoats Equipment, your John Deere dealer in Burley. Oh, it's time for the weather right now, and I understand that Scotty's filling in for Gina. We'll go right there in a minute, but right now I want to tell everybody that Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, they've got two wonderful doctors serving you, Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell, and believe me, they are really committed to serving your hearing health. I urge you to stop over or give them a call. They're right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and the number to call to make an appointment, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And here's Scotty.
Good morning. It's time for your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron sitting in for Gina Jameson. It's still smoky. If you have respiratory issues, that is the reason today. Not going to be as hot as we anticipated. Highs around 93. Then for tonight, still a lot of smoke hanging around, a low of 58. Tomorrow, not going to be so hot. Still smoky, though. Highs around 87. Then for Friday night, areas of smoke and a low of 52. For Saturday, looking for sunshine. Highs only around 84. And Sunday, highs around 84 as well. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron.
I appreciate it, Scotty. Great job, as always. And the weather brought to you this hour by our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. They are dedicated to serving people with hearing loss of all ages and their families. Call for an appointment today, 312-0957. Look forward to some calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What is the left doing except trying to be divisive? Why are the Democrats and the liberals in California, why do they want to have a splitting of the state? Why do they want to have the western half retained to what they call the elitists and the knowledgeable, and the eastern half be given back to Indian tribes? Well, what about all the people? I've traveled all over California. I've got friends in every part of the geography in that state. Why all this dissension? Why all this division? Because that is what they stand for. The party of division and hate. I'll stand behind those words. And then you come out with articles like this in the New York Times that says New Hampshire is too white. I mean, all they're doing is just throwing things in a great big pot and stirring them up and saying, oh, boy, we can get them now. We can go after those Caucasians now. It's divide and conquer. We'll take them over. What is this insanity? Why? And it's just like that city council woman in Connecticut. You know, she got down on her knees once and turned her back on the American flag during the Pledge of Allegiance. Once was plenty. And then she did it again the other night. And she was really railed by the veterans that were there, one of which was on television early this morning at 4:30 this morning, and he was sickened by what she had done. and said that if she does it again, they're going to continue to protest. They're going to continue to go after her for her resignation. And then she had said, thinking her mic was shut, but it wasn't, that she lived in a fascist and racist town. Well, sweetheart, I got news for you. If you think your town is racist and fascist and you're on the city council, get out of Dodge City. And don't let the doorknob hit you in the posterior on the way out. This is nuts, the way we're dividing and segregating and creating problems that maybe aren't even there. But these people almost act like, and when I say these people, the left, the liberals, almost act like they want a civil war in this country. Oh, maybe that's what they're after. Civil chaos, a civil war, and absolutely destroy the cohesive factor of being an American. Think about it. Also want to remind you about the Bennett Boys Auction Service. Absolutely the best. Bennett Boys Auction Service, they're going to have a great big warehouse closeout auction this coming Saturday, August 4th, 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be in Twin Falls at 139 3rd Avenue South. From the Depot Grill, go north 3 blocks and then east a half a block. They'll have lunch with the Cook Shack, and they're going to have all kinds of great antiques and collectibles and glassware and antique furniture and chrome table sets, wicker table sets. They're going to have furniture, household items, sporting goods. Woo! Big warehouse closeout auction. 10 o'clock Saturday morning, August 4th, in Twin Falls on 3rd Avenue South. Managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Dak Prescott, the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, was being interviewed after practice yesterday. And I want you to listen closely to this. And a question came up to him, the starting quarterback of the professional Dallas Cowboys. Are you going to stand or kneel for the national anthem? And he very explicitly told this reporter, no, I will stand for my national anthem. He said that there may be other times and other places and other venues and better ways to protest what people may have as legitimate complaints or gripes, but not during the national anthem. Since he said that, all heck has broken loose, and many of these despicable, overpaid, underworked athletes have come out of the woodwork against Dak Prescott. But I just want to say that there are many, and quite frankly, most of the NFL players have the common sense and the decency and the education to understand that this is a privilege to play a kid's game professionally and be paid millions of dollars here in the United States. Some of the losers, and they are, that choose to shoot themselves and others in the foot with their vile actions, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. And so this morning, I really want to salute this young man, Dak Prescott, for standing up, knowing that he's going to take the heat, face the heat from some of the athletes that think that they're bigger and better than this country. And he said, no, I will stand for the national anthem. It's the right thing to do. Right now, the right thing to do is to tell you all about our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with all the tires they have for all the vehicles and all the camp trailers and the horse trailers and the boat trailers and everything. Well, anything you need tires for, they've got them, and many of which are on sale right now. So please get in there before you go on a road trip, before the kids go back to school, and check out the best in tires. And also the best in brake service, the best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries. They want want you to leave here, go to point B, turn around, come back home safely. That's it. They want you to be safe. So stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. We're going to talk to him later on this morning. Your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. Holy moly. Great first hour. Thank you very much. A little bit later on this morning, I'm going to try to talk about another really dumb thing, what they call Trump derangement syndrome. For all the losers in the United States that sit there and they, Trump won the presidency. I don't know what I'm going to do. These nuts and kooks are now saying they have Trump derangement syndrome. Ay, 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 as my grandmother used to say. We'll talk about that. We've got a lot of things cooking. Chamber report coming up after the news. Cassia Regional Hospital, great people going to be on there. And then at 9:30, Rita Ramsey. Wow, we've got a full plate coming up for the next hour. Don't you miss it, Zeb at the Ranch. Right now, we'll send it back over to Wheels at our main studio for this music leading us up to CBS News. Oh, here we go. Hour number 2 on a Thursday. August 2nd already. Woo, where did the summer go? My goodness. And we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. And, of course, the very best in tires, brake service, you name it, right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And also, don't forget, too, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Wow, we've got a lot of things to take care of here. I want to remind you again that the Minidoka County Fair in full swing with the theme Building Dreams at the Minidoka County Fair. And tonight, of course, performance number 2 of the Junior Rodeo. Tomorrow night and Saturday night, the Wild West Open Rodeo. And, of course, on Saturday, the 4-H and FFA Buyers Livestock Auction and antique tractor pulls. Whoa, whoa, they've got a lot of things cooking over there. A lot of fun things for you and the family at the 70th Annual Minidoka County Fair. You stop over there today. Also want to remind you about some people that really, really care about the health of your livestock, whether you got a little bitty kitty cat or a great big bunch of roping steers, dairy cattle, horses, whatever. Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. And I want to remind you, they always wish all the 4-H and FFA kids out there great luck at the fair. But remember, too, that do not, in this hot weather, these 90-plus degree days, take your dogs with you in the car or the pickup. Whoa, too hot. Leave them home. Plenty of water and air. Ark Animal Hospital in Hayburn serving you, where they have warm hearts for cold noses. 678-1177. And real quick, I know we've got some folks waiting for us at the Minnetonka Chamber of Commerce, but stand by. Also want to remind you about our dear friends at Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. The number to call, the number to remember, 436-5636. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff really serving you and your family always with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. For more information and pre-planning of funerals, call them today, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary, and also Joel Heward serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. On the phone line we go, and thank you, Wheels, very, very diligent young man over there sending me some information. We have the second Miss Rapid Fire over at the Minnetonka Chamber of Commerce. Shay Lee, good morning.
How are you, Zeb?
Peachy.
Good. So we have a lot of things coming down the pipeline from the Chamber. As you mentioned, we are in full swing for the Minidoka County Fair. Like you said, their theme is Building Dreams. They'll have so much going on this weekend and the next 3 days. If you guys get a chance, head over to Rupert, head over down to the fair and check it out. Some other things that we have coming down the pipeline, River Valley Orthodontics, that new building that everyone has watched kind of being built over the last little bit right on the corner of Highway 81. They're going to have their ribbon cutting. It is September 14th at 1 o'clock p.m., and and it is open to the public, so anybody that would like to come down and kind of tour through that building and be a part of that, please do so on September 14th. The next thing that we have coming down is the photo contest that the Chamber of Commerce is putting on. It won't be closed until next year, so you have a whole year to take all sorts of photos of anything in the Mini-Cassia area that interests you. The winners of the photo contest will have their pictures displayed in the Visitor Center for 1 year. So that's kind of cool. If you guys are interested in that, go to our website, or you can email those submissions to president@minicasiachamber.com. Right Physical Therapy, again, they're always such a supporter of the community. They're doing the Stuff the Backpack 2018-19 session. These guys are great. They're accepting donations through September 1st at any of the Right Physical Therapy locations. There are 8 locations. We are also accepting donations at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce on behalf of Right Physical Therapy for Stuff the Backpack. That is on our website, all of the school supplies that they're looking for. If you guys want to go there, that is www.minicasiachamber.com. This weekend, another great thing that we have coming down the pipeline, it's sponsored by the VFW Post 3043 here in Burley. It's the Family Freedom Festival, also partnered with the Idaho Army National Guard. They will have their open house of the Armory on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It should be a lot of fun. They'll have the armored trucks out. They'll have an obstacle course, a shooting gallery. If you guys want to come down in South Freedom Park, the VFW will be set up there. They'll have games, raffles, vendors, all sorts of entertainment, food trucks, and all of the proceeds will go to support local veterans. So please come out to that. It's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at South Freedom Park on August 4th. Another thing that we have coming down the pipeline, everyone's really excited about, the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo, August 11th through the 18th. We have great people coming down for the concert this year. If you haven't got your tickets, either go to our website or go to the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo website and get your tickets before they are sold out. That's about it for the Chamber of Commerce today.
Would somebody over at the Chamber office, please go get this lady a glass of ice water? She's about ready to pass out.
I know.
Holy moly, you never came up for air.
I know. And Sarah was actually really sad that she couldn't be on this phone call. She had mentioned that she had to tell you a joke.
Oh, yeah, it's Thursday's Groaner with Sarah.
Okay, well, I'm going to fill in.
Oh, boy. Hold on.
Hold on to your seat.
I am.
All right, Zeb. How much does a polar bear weigh?
How much does a polar bear weigh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting ready to groan. Tell me.
Enough to break the ice.
Are you happy?
I'm super happy.
You know, I can just see you sitting over there at your desk, so smug with a little smile on your face going, I got him.
Well, you nailed it, actually.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you folks, and whether it's you or Sarah, thank you very much. You made my Thursday. God bless you. And how do they get a hold of the Chamber of Commerce? I know there's a lot of people that have questions, and maybe they want to give you a sick joke or something.
Yeah, maybe you guys can come give us some jokes so that we could actually tell good ones on the radio show.
Okay.
But you can come down Monday through Friday. The Visitor Center is open, and it's located at 11777th Street in Hayburn. It's kitty corner from the Upper Crust Bistro. You can get online at www.minicasiachamber.com, click on the events calendar, and it will tell you all of the community events, all of the chamber events, and anything that we have in the Mini-Cassia area that you guys might be interested in. If you have an event, you can also submit that on our community calendar. It's really easy. Just go to www.minicasiachamber.com. You can also call us here at 208-679-4793.
Okay, Shaylee, if you have 26 sheep and 5 die, how many do you have left?
21.
No, you have 15.
Wait, what?
If you have 26 sheep and 5 die, how many do you have left?
Well, I guess 15, since you just told me the answer.
Yeah, because they were 20 sick sheep.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, see, now you got a groaner right back at you, lady.
Thanks for that, Zeb.
All right, take care at the Minnecash Chamber of Commerce. God bless. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
All right, thank you. Oh, calls are welcome and appreciated. Let's see where I'm at. I got to get this in here real quick, and we were talking about our Cassia County Fair and Rodeo, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. Don't forget some of the businesses that invite you to be a part of it, like Golden Valley Warehouse at 468 West, 1000 South of Burley, 678-7324. Competitive prices, quality seed, the best of barley, wheat, triticale, oats, alfalfa, you better believe it. Golden Valley Warehouse, along with Mountain Transmissions, really, really good folks. Rick and the crew at 1146 East Main in Burley. They absolutely have the latest and greatest of technology available to keep you running. Get a hold of them today. Mountain Transmissions. And Kelly Bearings at 1407 East Main in Burley. Oh, yeah, you'll know where you're at when you get your bearings at Kelly's. All the bearings and the chains and the brackets, and I'll tell you, they've got it all for you at Kelly's Bearings, 1407 East Main in Burley. Really good folks. And they want you to attend the 2018 edition of the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo, which, of course, is going to be starting on August 11th with a great big concert. Oh, is it going to be ripping good this year? We got this information from Ryan. They're going to have a Sleep at the Wheel. Wow. And then Casey Donahue. Two great acts that are going to be on that concert date, August 11th. Get your tickets now. Contact the fair office. And then on Sunday, August 12th, that big monster truck show starting at 6 p.m. on Sunday, August 12th. All of this and a whole bunch more at your Cassia County Fair and Rodeo for 2018. Right now, without further ado, we are going to go over to Wheels at our main studio, and we visit with more of the really nice people, knowledgeable people, and caring people at Cassia Regional Hospital.
People caring about you and your health care in the most professional and progressive ways. That's Cassia Regional Hospital, located at 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. In a moment, we'll introduce you to just one of the many dedicated medical experts serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. Today's program, right after this. Cassia Regional Hospital provides you and your family excellent health care, answers, and services. They're right here, close to home. That's right. Cassia Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, like their new oncology programs and telehealth, which uses electronic information and telecommunications to promote long-distance patient and clinical health care. Your friends, your neighbors. Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care, close to home. Right now on our program for Cassia Regional Hospital, we get a chance to visit with the manager of the Marketing and Communications Department, Stephanie Curtis. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's a real treat to talk to you, and normally you are always kind of leading us to other groups and departments and people, but right now we're going to have you on the program talking about Cassia Regional's prenatal classes. Give me kind of a thumbnail sketch of what we're going to hear this morning.
You bet. Yes. So I just thought our community would enjoy learning more about our prenatal classes that pretty much go year-round. They start and stop and then start up again. And so anytime an expecting mother would like to start classes, they can call the hospital at 208-677-6500, and that's actually right to our birth center to sign up for these prenatal classes. They are held for 6 consecutive weeks, usually on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m., and topics include labor support, breathing and relaxation, and stages of labor and delivery, pain management options, breastfeeding, after delivery care, newborn care, infant CPR, and car seat information, and then it culminates in a birth center tour so that you can see where you'll be going, how to get there, what the rooms look like, and ask questions and probably meet some of the staff members and get you familiar with our birth center before you come in to deliver.
Let me ask you this. Is this a class that is also for the husbands to attend with their wives?
Yeah, it is. I'm glad you asked that. So you can bring a partner if you have a husband or a friend or whoever is planning to be there with you for the birth. They can come with you to all the classes, and they will learn how to support you on your big day. And you may find that attending the childbirth class together can create a special bond between the two of you. So, yeah, I think it's a great way to prepare your coach as well.
Now, are there charges that are incurred to attend these classes?
Yes. I'm not sure I can remember how much that is. I believe it is a $50 charge. So there is a charge involved, and it's very minimal, and it'll give you some materials, and then, yes, pay for those classes.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's kind of break this down a little bit. I would imagine that there's a lot of moms, if not most new moms, that are really concerned and have trepidations, and they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know how to approach the various subjects, and this really kind of breaks everything down for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really goes down to really detailed information and give you confidence in your body's ability to give birth, and feel more confident when it's time to take your baby home, caring for your baby. And I imagine being able to learn CPR, you're just going to have a lot more confidence as a mother to know that you can handle a lot of tough situations and the day-to-day situations after you bring a baby home, and also, of course, that delivery, which is an amazing process your body goes through.
What about the teachers? Who are the people that are going to be conducting the classes?
Our teacher is a nurse, and she has worked for many years in our labor and delivery unit and has a tremendous amount of experience, and she is just absolutely wonderful. And so, you'll get a very qualified person teaching you all of this.
From the labor support all the way to the car seats, it sounds like a lot of information. Do they get handbooks to study, or are there study materials?
I don't have that detail, but I believe so. I believe there are study materials that are given out, or some materials that are given out, yes.
What's the biggest question or groups of questions that are asked by new moms about these prenatal classes?
I think that they want to make sure that they're learning breathing and relaxation, ways to breathe and relax during labor. I think they're curious about the different stages that they're going to go through during labor. And one of the biggest questions I think first-time moms especially have is, when do I know if I'm in labor? And, you hear a lot of stories about moms showing up at the hospital thinking they're in labor and being sent home. And so I think especially first-time moms really want to hear what to look for so that they know when they're in labor. And then the other big question I know moms always have is, at what point am I supposed to arrive if I do know I'm in labor? Should I labor at home for a while and then come in? And at what point do I know I'm supposed to go to the hospital? That's tricky for every mom, and it can be a little bit of guesswork, but the teachers can help you determine what your body is trying to tell you.
There's been a lot of sitcoms on television over the years, all the way back to I Love Lucy to current sitcoms about the moms and the dads, the new moms and dads trying to get things organized and get to the hospital. And these classes really are going to tell them what to do, what to take, etc., right?
Yeah, like how to pre-pack a bag and be ready, and what kind of clothes you should wear, and what to expect while you're in the hospital. What things maybe you should bring along, and what things will be provided for you here, and things like visiting hours so you can prepare your family and friends to come and visit while you're at the hospital. And every question you could possibly have will be answered, and even questions you don't know you should have will be answered, so you'll feel extremely prepared for that big day.
Let me ask you this, Stephanie. After the birth of the baby, I would imagine there's probably a lot of fear that creeps up on both the mom and the dad about taking the baby home for the first time, and then all of a sudden, holy cow, we've got a new person to take care of at home. Are those questions addressed?
Yeah, absolutely. There's an after delivery care and a newborn care topic that's covered, and car seat information. Understanding laws where car seats are concerned, and also there's staff that can check your car seat and make sure that you are installing it in your car properly, and that it has the latest and greatest safety measures. Some people get hand-me-down car seats, and they are not well-equipped, or they've been recalled.
Oh.
And we even have staff who can make sure your car seat's installed and is the best car seat for the safety of your infant. And so there's a lot of that. Yeah, breastfeeding, that's a really big deal for women to learn how to do that well, and we have lactation specialists here. They're internationally certified lactation specialists, and so a new mom is going to be sent home with lots of education, lots of information, and a lot of confidence in her abilities.
And right there, I would imagine, thinking back to when my children were born, dads, they really need a lot of questions answered as to what to do, how to hold the baby, all these kinds of things, and I'm sure you address that also.
Yeah, you bet. Yep, dads get to learn right alongside the mom, and they'll build a lot of confidence in their abilities as well.
Well, now, how and when do they know when these classes start, and again, the times? Give us all that information one more time.
Okay, they're typically held on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. at the hospital, and the best way to find out when the next series is starting is to call 208-677-6500 to sign up for a class. And they, like I said, they're ongoing. Oh, and you know what? We also have a Saturday class available occasionally, and it'll cover all of the material given in the 6-week classes, and it's in a full Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's another option for people who'd rather do it all in one day. That's a great option. So just call the hospital. We also have another phone number, 208-677-6446, to call to set that up as well. So 2 phone numbers there. And give us a call to get on the schedule for the next one. They recommend that you start your classes, I believe, at about 20 weeks of pregnancy. But obviously that doesn't have to be an exact timing, so that's about the 5th month of pregnancy, but somewhere around there is a really great time to start into those classes.
All right, we've been talking this morning to the manager of the Marketing and Communications Department at Cassia Regional Hospital, Stephanie Curtis, about the prenatal classes that are available at Cassia Regional. Stephanie, thank you very much for some vital information. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Zed.
Tune in every Thursday at 9:18 right here on Zeb at the Ranch for more about the people and the healthcare services at your Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care close to home.
Oh, they are wonderful, wonderful people. And Stephanie, you're right there, absolutely does a great job. Hey, don't forget our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. I just bought a brand new recliner from them, and oh, is it comfy. Yeah, I tell you what, I just hate to leave every night. I go to bed and look forward to sitting in it the next day. Well, now I'll tell you what, Lee's Furniture has all their window coverings at 40% off. That's right. The shades and the vertical blinds, whatever you need. And they're having a great sale on mattresses, queen mattresses for only $2.99. Better get in there. And they also deliver. I'll tell you, the people to help you for your comfort and beautification of your home, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Well, you know, you need to get outside. You need to get out and enjoy the beautiful state of southern Idaho, all of Idaho. I mean, wherever you want to go on an ATV or whatever, I know the place that you need to stop at and visit with Nick and Randy and the staff at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. Oh my, all the ATVs, and right now 0% financing on the ATVs. They've also got the Honda Pioneer side-by-sides. They've got every bit of all the accessories you could ever need, and of course a super service department to keep you running. Absolutely. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. And also over in that neck of the woods, our thanks go out to some really dedicated and responsive persons to your needs, and I'm talking about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more. All you need to do is call and make an appointment at 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Holy moly, I'm running a minute or so late. Good morning, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
She's there, sir. I apologize.
All right. Rita Ramsey, how are you?
I'm good. How are things going out your way?
You know, I hope you were listening earlier this morning, because I honestly believe that the left, the Democrats, I'm going to call them by name, are absolutely out there for only one purpose, and that is to divide, and they think they can conquer with all the divisive policies and attitudes that they're putting forth, whether it's the state of California with the Calexit, or whether it's the going after the state of New Hampshire saying they're too white. It just seems like the left is like a crazed rabid dog.
Well, they are, and what they don't really understand is that they're being used. There are people like Soros, and I think he's at the top of the list, that have enlisted all of these people via transfers of money. And he thought that he could get things done if he just invested money into it. And when he found out that Trump wins, it's kind of like, yeah, so we wasted all that money, it didn't work, so now what do? Well, we get divisive. And he has got all of these people enlisted, and what he's trying to do is just totally bring up the fact that he can divide America to a crumble, and that's what he wants to do. And I don't know for fact, but I would be willing to bet my bottom dollar that he is the head of this movement. And they all think that, you know, it's just because Hillary lost and we're upset. It's like, no, there's a start of it. And you know how he funded the little snowflakes back before the elections and that type of stuff. Well, he's just even got more in the Hate America. But I really believe that's where it's at. And divisive is the only way that we can be divided and fall.
Rita, I'm telling you, this is weird. It's like an old Twilight Zone TV show. I mean, the people in California want to split some, not all, believe me. There's some sanity down there. But they want to split the California state in half, and the eastern half goes back to the Indian tribes. And if you're not of Indian descent, well, too bad. You got to move or be subservient to what their wishes are. And then the New York Times goes after the state of New Hampshire as being too white. I've never heard of such lunacy.
Well, that's just it. You get all of these sheeple, and they start following here and there and everywhere. And I mean, the news this yesterday afternoon was South Africa to allow seizure of land.
Yeah.
Owned mostly by whites.
Yeah.
Without any compensation. And that's no different than them coming in and saying, well, the Indian people were here before, and they were here 300 years ago, and now it's mine. And the same thing with the blacks and slavery. You know, it's like, well, that'll work, and compensation, and all of a sudden everybody's just looking for a free ride.
We are no longer, and I mean this when I say this, we are no longer the United States of America, with the kooks, the crackpots, and the morons that have infiltrated the left and the Democratic Party. We're not united anymore.
Well, we're not, and you know, that's the deal, is that we can break down America, who is the biggest and the best of any nation that has ever been on earth, with the liberty that we've enjoyed, and the free trade, and the capitalism, and various things that we have, being able to speak out and have those unalienable rights granted to us and recognized by our government. Other countries around the world recognize that that's not the case, and they shouldn't be able to do it. And if we can just convince people that a free ride is the way to go, we can break them down. And I really believe that's their ulterior motive.
How could anybody in their right mind, which leaves out a lot on the left because they're not in their right mind, how could anybody pick at New Hampshire? They are fourth in education. They are 11th in the economy for the United States. They are first in opportunity. They are second in suppressing and stopping crime, and they're fourth in the quality of life. So here's this op-ed page writer for the New York Times criticizing them because they're too Caucasian, they're too white. My goodness, what's the matter with people?
Well, the part that's really sad about that is I think they say, well, if we pick on the little teeny ones, it will show us whether we can pick on the bigger ones. And so let's go after the little ones and let's get them. They're pretty conservative in their values and the things that you just mentioned. So if we can get them to turn on those, then we've got them totally blue and turned over, and that means we can go to the next biggest ones. And I mean, who's smaller than New Hampshire? Rhode Island? Or, I mean, is there very many others smaller than New Hampshire?
Yeah, and part of the article that was in the New York Times said that, we have to also go after Vermont, that's 95% white, and we have to go after Maine, that's 95% white. Why? Let diversity grow by itself. Nobody's standing at the border with guns saying, you're Mexican or you're black or whatever, you can't come in. This is lunacy.
Well, it definitely is, and that was going to be my next point, is those states are not white because they won't let anybody else in. Those states are white because the other people haven't come in to make them that way.
That's right.
If they want to, and they want to buy property and want to do all the things that you need to do to be property owners, and you're not the typical white person, more power to you. Go do it. But a lot of times they go, it's too far north, and you don't make a living at what I do, whatever it is.
There you go.
And that's not conducive to what I want, and they don't have a good welfare program, and blah, 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 all the other stuff that may be criteria for some of those folks to go to. But like you said, I don't know that there's border guards not letting anybody into those states.
You know, we are on the verge, in my opinion, and Wheels, we got a little feedback here, please, my friend. We're on the verge, and I hope it doesn't come to fruition. But we are on the verge of a civil war in this country. And I think a lot of people try to overshadow it and try to cover it up and try to cover it with, no, I think Zeb's just being a radical. But think about this. The left is absolutely ready to implement violence and so much hatred and burning and looting and destruction right now because their team didn't win. Their team did not beat Donald Trump. And right now, this Trump derangement syndrome that's happening supposedly in this country, showing these people with tears in their eyes running down their cheeks, and they're going, oh, we lost, what are we going to do? And the left is really creating violence against conservatives and people that supported Donald Trump. I did not know this. But Betsy DeVos, Secretary of Education, her family has a yacht. And some nincompoops went out and let it loose in the harbor so that it could be battered and ripped apart, floating away out into the ocean. And then we saw somebody just the other day literally try to attack a car with another car because it had a Trump bumper sticker on it. This is absolutely insane.
Well, it was, and a lot of times they just use this as an excuse for them to be violent or cause damage and that type of thing. But you've got the press that is instigating it. There's that article that Politico's Mark Caputo mocks Trump rally attendees, calling them toothless garbage people.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? I don't care if somebody was a toothless garbage people. I would never call them that. I would maybe feel sad that they were, but I definitely wouldn't say that. But this is just their mode of thinking, is they think they're so much more superior to anybody else, and so they call all the Trump supporters are people who don't know their head from a hole in the ground, and they don't make their own way. They don't do anything. He just thinks that they're just a bunch of people that crawled out from under rocks. And the deal is if you were to go through and actually do a survey of the Trump supporters, I think you'd find the very biggest majority are just middle-class working people who are trying to make ends meet and do their part. You wouldn't find a bunch of them that are just on the dole. You'd find a lot of them probably business people who said, you know what, unless we get a businessman in there, my business may not survive. But the majority would be just regular working people. And you know what? Last I looked, it didn't matter whether you had teeth or not, whether you could do a good job. It's how your hands work, not your teeth.
Listen, let me just say this, and it may take a second or two, so bear with me. We're looking at 4.1% growth in the GNP. We are looking at an economy that is growing, and believe me, there's a lot of incentive for businesses to increase their employees and expand their businesses. We have a president and administration that are talking to our enemies, and we're sitting down and we're talking across a table instead of throwing missiles across the ocean. We're doing away with the terrorists when we're going after them and eliminating their vile stature. What in the world, honestly, tell me this because I must be overlooking something. What is so negative about the Trump administration in a year and a half? Obama never accomplished any of this in 8 years.
Well, that's true, but actually I think if you went back to the last 3 or 4 or 5 presidents maybe, you would find out that they did not accomplish what, in all their combined times, what Trump has. You notice how the news media will make up stuff, and they'll put things on the front thing, just like the deal with Trump, his little tweet yesterday. And, that's a big deal. He's trying to obstruct justice because he said, come on, Sessions, it hasn't been long enough. Well, that isn't obstructing justice. But, I see a headline here this morning that says, Pence welcomes presumed remains of Americans killed in North Korea.
Yes.
Today our boys are coming home. That Korean War's been over for, 60 years?
Yes.
70 years? And nobody's ever done it. Nobody gives them credit for it or anything. But Trump had something to do with this happening.
A lot. And I'll tell you something, I watched that yesterday on television, and I'm not ashamed to say that I cried. I watched those caskets coming onto that Air Force base in Honolulu, and I thought it was just a matter of months ago that there was a fear that Trump and Kim Jong-un would start lobbing missiles and destroy the world in a nuclear holocaust. And now, thanks to Trump and his administration meeting with North Korea, we're getting the remains of our American soldiers back to rest in peace in America. What is the matter with the left and the media? For crying out loud, give the man some credit for some positivity.
Well, that's just it. They don't want him to have any credit, so they'll do anything that they can to make it look like that he's the bad guy. The other thing is, and I know I mention this probably every time I talk to you, is Trump was not my first choice. However, I'm very pleased with the things that he's doing.
Yes.
I did vote for him because he was better than the only other choice I had. But I am pleased with a lot of the things that he is doing and getting done. You know, you notice how it just kind of dropped off of the radar once they got the capital moved back to Israel, back to Jerusalem for Israel.
Yep.
And they fought that tooth and nail. It's a big deal. It's a bad thing. Da-da-da-da-da. And when it got moved and everything else, okay, let's drop it and let's get something else out there that we can target and show show the world that he's just a dunderhead. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I think it's really sad that they will just, could they not just be quiet?
Yeah. I'm going to do a weather forecast, and when I come back, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about a city council woman in Connecticut. We'll get to that in just a moment. Right now, it's time for our weather forecast, and the weather brought to you this hour by some really great people that can serve and will serve you and your family and your business. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, payroll services, retirement planning. The list goes on. And according to my dear friend Lyden Crane, watch out, there have been changes in the tax laws. Tax rates have changed, new deductions and old deductions have changed. You better check it out. Get a hold of them today with offices in Burley and Rupert, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Good morning. It's time for your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron sitting in for Gina Jameson. It's still smoky. If you have respiratory issues, that is the reason today. Not going to be as hot as we anticipated. Highs around 93. Then for tonight, still a lot of smoke hanging around, a low of 58. Tomorrow, not going to be so hot. Still smoky, though. Highs around 87. Then for Friday night, areas of smoke and a low of 52. For Saturday, looking for sunshine. Highs only around 84. And Sunday, highs around 84 as well. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron.
Thank you very much, Scotty. Brought to everybody by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. They can and they will help you with offices in Burley and Rupert. Rita, I just absolutely, every time I think about the kneeling and the sitting during the national anthem or the total disrespect for our Pledge of Allegiance, I think of Colin Kaepernick and that vile young man with the IQ of a billy goat absolutely starting all this problem. And in the last couple of weeks, we've had a councilwoman back in Connecticut that during the Pledge of Allegiance, she got out of her chair, kneeled down with her back to the flag, and she did it again the other evening. And the people in that area are absolutely incensed against her, and I hope they throw her out of office. What are your thoughts?
Well, they definitely should, and I don't know what her absolute reasons are or what Kaepernick's reasons were for sure. I think it's like, well, if I make a point and I'm black, then I'll bring the attention here, because this is a lot of the times it's like, well, the police, target blacks and black this, black that, blah, 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 blah. Forget that I'm a black millionaire and I don't even have a way of making money unless I'm just playing ball. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. But, there's a story, Pastor Darrell Scott thanked President Trump for helping inner city communities, predicting he would be the most pro black president in our lifetime.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Trump is doing a lot of things that should gain recognition, and all that's happening is these idiots that are doing this I'm going to kneel down and be part of the, I support the blacks, when it's kind of like, if you support the blacks so much, why aren't you helping to create things and help the blacks in the inner cities where they're really having a lot of issues?
I will say this, and I want to say this again, and maybe you heard it last hour, that Dak Prescott, the young man that is the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, was interviewed yesterday after practice, and the reporter asked him, he said, "What about your stance on the national anthem?" And this young man, Dak Prescott, looked at the reporter and said, "I will stand. It's very important for me to show my respect for the flag." And he said, if others don't want to do it, that is their problem, but I stand for the flag. And Rita, since he said that, he has taken all kinds of heat from athletes that think he should have just joined the flock and taken a knee.
Well, that's the big deal is, you know, when you're a loser, you want all the backing you can get, and all you're trying to do is convince other people that you're right, and so join with me, instead of, you know, being the one person. And I don't know whether you've been in this circumstance before or not. I think most of us in our lifetimes have been the one that had to stand up and say, you know what?
Yep.
What's going on here is not right, and I'm just going to have to be against it. And if I'm by myself, that's fine. But why can you not just say, you know what? I'm just not going to join the flock. Those other people know that they're wrong. They know what they're doing is bad. It's bad for America. It's bad for everybody. But they think they have so much ownership because they're the big money makers that they can just do anything that they want. And this particular thing, it's like, well, if we get enough people to join together with us, we'll have carte blanche and we can just do whatever we want. And this isn't where it will stop. It will stop. It won't stop until they go through, and we demand twice as much money and twice as much this and that and the other, and they'll just ruin it, and that's going to be sad.
You know, one other story I wanted to ask you about is, would you please tell me, and I respect you because you really follow the news, but have you ever in your life followed a story about a person that was extremely wealthy, a person that was a former campaign manager, a person that absolutely has not been convicted of any crime yet, but yet they're telling everybody, they being the legal dogs back in Washington, D.C., that this man could get 360 years in prison. He's already in solitary confinement. What has he done? I'm talking about Paul Manafort. What has he done?
Well, he has an association with Trump, and that's all it is. Because the stuff that they're talking to him about now and trying to convince jurors that he should be locked up or fined or whatever are things that happened 10, 12 years ago before he was...
Yes.
Before Trump ever was saying, well, in 2016, I'm going to run for president. Da, 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 da. It's simply an association that he has, and they have targeted him. And really, that's against the Constitution and the laws as they are, so they're grasping at what they can actually do.
Yep.
But it's a sad deal, and they just think that, well, if we keep him in solitary confinement long enough, maybe he can manufacture some lies from some partial truths, and we'll have something we can go to the bank on. And it's just really sad, but that's all it is. He is strictly because he's an associate of Donald Trump.
You talk about building a case, using those words, building a case. The left is absolutely, they've been trying to build a case for over a year and a half. Please tell me where the boards are nailed together. I'd like to know.
Well, that's just it. They're using glue that they think will stick, and it won't, and it's not going to happen. It's all going to crumble, and hopefully it's going to crumble in time for some people to make sense of it. However, I don't think all of the Democrats are on board with this kind of stuff. I think they're saying, okay, if they'll do that to them, what are they going to do to me?
Yeah, I think you're right. Wow. You know, Rita, I forgot to ask you the last week, what is going on in your world? Have you got anything that you need to publicize or announce during the summer months? I forgot last week, and I'll ask you this week.
Nope. We're just kind of hanging in here trying to keep everybody cool and get our work done, and glad to be busy.
I'll bet you trying to keep everybody cool is not the easiest thing with 95 to 100-degree temperatures.
Oh, it's not. You know, you have people that call in and they need something, and you can't get there right this minute. This is for an old person. This is for a baby. This is for... It's kind of like, you know what? We'll just put you on the list and get there as soon as we can.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. How many moms and old ladies and babies and that do we put ahead of everybody that's been waiting patiently?
There you go. Just people stand in line, be polite, and it'll all get taken care of. Rita, thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Love that lady and having her on the program. And right now, quickly, I want to remind you about the Jerome County Fair and Rodeo. Don't forget, they're going to have a top-notch PRCA rodeo August 7, 8, and 9. That's a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the Jerome County Fairgrounds for 2018. Excellent, excellent rodeo. And then also, don't forget on August 10th, Friday, August 10th, 7 p.m., they're going to have the great country artist Jesse G in concert. Whoa, all kinds of great things happening at the Jerome County Fair and Rodeo, August 7th through the 11th in Jerome. By the by, at this time of the morning, if you are hungry and like me, starving to death, I know some great places to go. How about the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley? Right now they've got the orange and lemonade freezes. Whoa! Cool you off in 90-degree weather. And all the shakes and the delicious Farmer Brown burgers. You're going to love that place. AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. You stop in there today. Well, how about we move over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. What a great place to go for your morning coffee and maybe have a street taco with the choice of meat, steak, pork, or fire-roasted salsa chicken. Woo! Start your day off right. All of this and more. And then don't forget, too, the breakfast burritos. They are phenomenal. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, then, two locations of Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. They've got that medium spicy chicken combo with fries and a drink, only $5.99. Wow! And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner, only $5.99, and fresh strawberry shakes. Good eating at Burgers Etc. Rupert and Burley. Well, last but not least, let's head on over to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. I'm drooling. The patio's open, live music on the weekends from 6 to 9, and they've got those delicious buffalo burgers and fantastic salads, believe me, and great service. I mean, the whole menu just absolutely delicious. Don't forget Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. I am. Coming up next hour, we have Cache County School Days. The lovely, wonderful Debbie Critchfield is going to be our guest for this morning. And then our business salute is going to go to Randy at Tires West. And then at 10:30 this morning, we're going to have Jeremy Dice on the program talking about religious liberty and how it's being infringed upon here in the United States. All of that and more coming up in the next hour. Wheels, take it to CBS News. Oh, my. Here we go. Hour number 3, August 2nd. On this Thursday, Zeb at the Ranch, and, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. And if you're getting ready for a road trip, don't forget to stop into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. In a couple of weeks, the Cache County Fair is going to be off and running. I'll tell you what, you'd better be ready for it. And a lot of the merchants are saying, come on and enjoy the Cache County Fair. Businesses like Magic Valley Irrigation at 44 East 500 South of Burley. Telephone number 678-3101. Jeff and the crew at Magic Valley Irrigation thank the farmers and ranchers for all they do. And don't forget, at Magic Valley Irrigation, offering irrigation system service and repair since 1978. Pickett Equipment Company at 976 East Main in Burley, most innovative edible bean harvesting equipment in the world. Man, I know these people. I've known them for over 40 years. Absolutely the best of equipment at Pickett Equipment Company, 976 East Main in Burley. Also, Dot Foods at 1541 West 27th Street in Burley, coming together every day to make a difference for you and everyone. They work with the community to make our entire everyday happenings better in the Magic Valley. What matters to you matters to them. Dot Foods. And last but not least, Perkins Bakery and Restaurant at 800 North Overland in Burley. Located at the Burley Inn. Easy access for trucks and trailers. And don't forget breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and desserts. Really good desserts. Right after the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo, stop over to Perkins Restaurant and Bakery on Overland. Those are just a few great businesses that want you to enjoy the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo. And by the way, get ready, get your tickets now. What a concert on Saturday, August 11th. This is going to be first class. They're going to have a Sleep at the Wheel for the opening act and Casey Donahue for the main act. Wow, knock your boots off, fantastic. Great big Cassia County Fair and Rodeo concert on Saturday, August 11th. Get your tickets at the fair office now, and the concert gates open at 6:30 p.m. on the 11th. And then the next day, on Sunday, August 12th, don't forget that big monster truck show by Live a Little Productions. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal starting at 6 p.m. Those are just a few of the great happenings at your Cassia County Fair and Rodeo for 2018. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, got to gather up all my air. We're ready to go with Cassia County School Days. And, of course, it's brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And I want to urge you, they've got all the clothing, and they've got all the baby furniture, and they've got all the games and the puzzles and the toys. This is a family store. I urge you to stop in and say thank you for what they do. 1308 Overland in Burley, A Child's World. Thank you very much. A lovely lady that has had a busy, busy summer, and we're going to find out about that a little bit. Here is the communications officer for Cassia County Schools, Debbie Critchfield. Good morning.
And good morning to you.
You have been all over this summer.
This summer has been a blink of an eye. I don't know about others, but yes, my son and I participated in a humanitarian experience in Peru for about 3 weeks that included building onto a school.
Wow.
And it was the best, worst thing that I've ever done. It was hard. It was good.
Okay, but I got to ask you this. You said over in Peru. Now, you are used to southern Idaho with not very much humidity, even though it's been warm this summer. Please share with me the culture shock of going to hot, humid Peru.
Yeah, I wore a hat a lot. My hair wasn't at its finest, but it was good. It's their winter there, which is not wintry, and so it was different. It was actually a little bit colder than what I thought it would be, but you're right on the humidity. And Lima itself was a beautiful city. We actually were about an hour outside of the main capital there, in a very, very poor part of town. So great experience for anybody.
Let me ask you,
exposed to different cultures.
Let me ask you this, Debbie. You said you were over there helping build a school. What is education in general compared to there versus here?
Well, we don't have much to complain about. I'll start with that. The U.S. system, and certainly there's always room for improvement, but the ability for us to educate and to reach every child, whether they have a lot of money or not much money, I think is something that we can be proud of. That's not the case everywhere around the world. Education, for the most part, is reserved for people who can pay for it.
What did you find as far as the students were concerned? I mean, are they competing educationally on the same level as the same grades here, or is there quite a divide?
I think there's a divide, and I don't know about, of course, every country in the world, but Peru is, as a developing country, they definitely lack the resources. I found that the students to be as eager, if not more eager than our students. It's, an opportunity to be removed from generational poverty, to have some options that can kind of get them out of the neighborhoods that they're in. And we saw some of the most dramatic looks at poverty that I've ever seen.
Now, when you say that, I can imagine, because I've also seen the differences when I've made some worldwide travels. But when you say that, poverty versus what we have here, I would imagine that you came home very feeling that you were really blessed.
Absolutely. And again, the focus of the trip is for young people to kind of get outside themselves and just visiting with my own son and reflecting on the experience. I was pleased with some of his takeaways, which included, after 3 weeks, we go home to comfort and some of these things. And, he says this is where these, this segment of the world where they reside and live. And he says, and yet everyone was happy and had a smile on their face every day.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, good. These are good lessons.
Now, this was the building of a school, a brand new school, or the renovation of a school?
It was the addition of a school. There's a humanitarian group that has been building on to this school, and as they are able to attract more children to the school, this was to build 2 additional classrooms. And so these young people with no equipment, shovels and pickaxes, dug trenches through granite and poured cement with wheelbarrows. It was hard work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a good experience. Anything we can do to open our eyes, I think, is always valuable.
Absolutely. Now, it's hard to believe, but it seems like virtually 2 weeks ago, you and I were talking about the end of school, wrapping things up for the summer, and children going on vacation, and the teachers doing certain things during the summer. Now we're talking about registration again. What happened to summer?
We all blinked again. Yes, here we are. Registration, as you mentioned, is next week, and 8th and 9th at the various schools. I do want to put out a little plug. We're very, very close to the completion of the remodel at Mountain View, and so if anyone has students that will be attending Mountain View, registration for that school is actually going to be held at Burley High School's Little Theater. We just have enough things that we're finishing up there that we don't want little people or families at the school yet. But other than that, parents can go to the individual schools. If they visit our website, you can see online registration options for folks who aren't able to break away from work or maybe had a family trip planned. One way or another, we'll be able to get your children registered.
Okay, but what do the parents need to know and or do or accomplish prior to registration? Is there anything they need to make a checklist on?
There are a few things. New students, we need birth certificates and immunization records, and some of those typical new student type things. We've just moved into the area, documentation. I will add that for 7th graders, any students, even if you're a returning student to our school district, you need to provide your immunization records. You and I have talked about the fact that there are some laws that have added 2 additional immunizations for students entering the 7th grade. That's a state law. It's not Cassia County. It's just how it is. And so our school secretaries have access to the IRIS records that they can pull that up. But sometimes things haven't been updated, especially if someone went, a few days prior to registration. So for our incoming, no matter what school you go to, if you're starting in the 7th grade, you need to provide your immunization.
Okay, now, for parents, again, we want to reiterate, here we are, we're at August 2nd, and if you have not kept up on the immunizations with your children, they'd better make some appointments in a big hurry and then have that provided versus not having the information, right?
Correct. And you can talk to your doctor. Of course, the health department works well with us. And we try to communicate this over the summer. And again, the summer gets away from us, and we think, oh, we'll do it next week. But those are some important documents. New kindergartners, if you haven't already if you registered back in April, you don't have to re-register, but everyone may want to visit the school or call the school to find out what teachers and classes and so forth that their students are in.
I guess a question that just came to my mind is how did the renovation and the construction projects, are they basically all finished?
We're very close. Mountain View has transformed, so I would invite folks, even if your child is not attending Mountain View, isn't zoned to go there, but you've had experience there to, after school starts, to drop by and see where we are there. We've also made some improvements at Dvorak. As you know, we have gone to a K-6 configuration at 4 elementary schools in Burley, and so that necessitated some facility changes, for example, bathroom upgrades at Dvorak. And so we're busily working to finish those things up so that we're ready for students on August 22nd. That's our first day.
Oh, my goodness. What about the new school year? Is there anything you need to mention as far as any changes or any administrative changes, anything else going into August 22nd?
A couple of our elementary schools in Burley have new principals, so of course we invite people to, introduce themselves. We also have a new school resource officer, and that individual comes to us from the sheriff's department, and they are an officer that they work for the sheriff's department, but they're in our schools every day, and his name is Officer Rose, and we're encouraging students particularly and parents to introduce themselves to him. He wants to be a great resource for us and wants to build some good relationships with students. Of course, we've got a new superintendent, and we're excited. We feel like, as we do every year at the start of a year, that good things are to come.
What about the student athletes? Is there any information? I know a lot of them in preparation for the different sports, etc. Do they need to be aware of anything?
Having a physical is important, particularly for junior high and high school students. And so if it's been a year, I believe it's every other year that you have to have a new one on file. So this would be another good opportunity to provide that information. I know websites, we try to have information for tryouts, and especially our football programs, a lot of them are just getting going with their two-a-days, if you can imagine, in this heat. But It's the time of year, and we're excited for it.
Debbie, if there's anything else you want to throw at us this morning, feel free to do so. But I want to say how nice it is to have you on the program, and I'm looking forward to all of your great guests, teachers, and various personnel with Cassia County Schools District for this upcoming year. It should be a lot of fun and very interesting.
Well, we're excited. Like I say, every year you start off very excited and optimistic about what the year brings. I know teachers, they do what they do because they're excited about working with students, and it's fun to see what they've learned and evolved over the summer and what gets implemented in the classrooms. And we look for a growing enrollment with a growing community, and hope that we can just all work together to have a great year.
All I can say is it's good to have you back from Peru. Debbie Critchfield, the Cassia County Schools Communications Officer. God bless you, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. Nice lady right there, Debbie Critchfield. And, of course, Cassia County School Days brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley every Thursday right here on Zebeth Ranch at 1010. By the way, we've got a big sale going on this Saturday, the Warehouse Closeout Auction, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service, and it's going to be at 10 o'clock on Saturday, August 4th, located in Twin Falls at 139 3rd Avenue South in Twin. From the Depot Grill, go north about 3 blocks, then east a half a block. Whoa, they're going to have lunch by the Cook Shack, and have they got some antiques. They've got all kinds of collectible antiques, and they've got glassware, and they've got antique furniture like wicker table sets and steamer trunks. They've got all kinds of furniture and household items and sporting goods, lots of fishing equipment, patio chairs. Wow! Big warehouse closeout auction, 10 o'clock Saturday morning, August 4th at Twin Falls, Idaho's 139 3rd Avenue South. Managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. Right now, we're going to get on the phone line, and a very dear friend of mine is on the phone with us this morning to talk about your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and that's Randy from Tires West, right there on Overland and Burley. Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today, Zeb?
I'm great. What's going on with Randy and Tires West during the summer months? Have you been busy?
Yeah, we've been very busy. We've got the grain harvest going all over the valley, tires going out on people because of the heat on the freeway, long-haul truckers, just regular trailers, people in town. Yeah, it's been a busy year. The heat really expands our business these time of the year for sure.
You know, Randy, one of the things I don't think I've ever asked you, having you on the program, as far as the Les Schwab Tire Centers all across the West, what does a person have to do, or how are they selected, whatever, to become a Les Schwab dealer?
Well, there's an application online on leschwab.com that people will generally fill out, and then we'll go through them and do a drug test and background check and interviews and call references and things like that, and then just see, if how their work ethic is, and if they're, if they're polite to the public, if we want that representation for our businesses. So it's a pretty thorough check, and and then once we hire them, we keep tabs on them and make sure they're doing a good representation, again, of what we want as a Les Schwab store.
So you can honestly sit there, and I know this is true, that your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all the Les Schwab Tire Centers, really high standards to provide service to the community.
Yeah, we try to, absolutely. We try to get involved with the community, too, as far as all the stores try to do different things as far as high school sponsorships, the sponsorships for different clubs and organizations around the valley. So we try to be involved in our communities and support them back, because they do a great job of supporting us as well. So we try to return the favor.
We've been talking on the air every day about, if you're getting ready for a road trip, you better make sure you stop into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. What are some of the services you provide to people that might be taking a last-minute trip with the kids before school starts?
Well, the thing that we advertise, Zeb, is that free pre-trip safety check. And if somebody's going out on a road trip and they want to make sure they're safe, they can just come in anytime. We do 6 different steps. We'll check the air pressure in their tires, make sure they're inflated properly. Also look at the wear. If they're wearing on edges, look like any alignment problems. That's good to do a visual inspection on that. Then we look at the front end underneath to see if maybe the tie rods, anything's loose underneath, do the shock struts inspection. Also do a load test on the battery and look at the brakes too. So that kind of helps if you see any corrosion on the battery, because the last thing you want to do is be somewhere in this hot weather and all of a sudden have your battery not start. So we try to do inspection with that. And then, of course, we've got our tires on sale right now for our Road Trip Ready promotion. We've got the Toyo Eclipse, the 70,000-mile tire, on sale right now. Also, the Toyo Open Country AT2 is on sale, which is our best tire, and our brand-owned backcountry that Les Schwab owns themselves, that Cooper builds. We have that on sale as well. So we've got quite a bit going right now at all the Les Schwab stores.
Let me ask you this question, Randy, regarding tires. Depending upon the vehicle, etc., and the way they drive, how do you sit down and discern really what tires are going to fit that driving condition for those people that are maybe going to Arizona, or maybe they're headed up north into Canada, whatever the difference?
Well, we look at their vehicle. If it's an older one, they're not going to keep it a long time. We probably will push them into an entry-level tire. If it's a nicer vehicle, they're going to keep it for a long time, and they drive it quite a bit. We try to push them into a higher mileage tire. And, of course, people out south in Oakley, Grouse Creek area, places like that, if they're on a lot of gravel, we push our tires that have that rock compound tread. Because, boy, it's easy to puncture a tire when you're on a lot of gravel. So we have tires that fit that application as well. So it kind of depends on where they're driving, the type of vehicle, how long they're going to keep, and, of course, the budget. You know, how much people have that they want to budget in their tires as well. So all of that factors into what kind of tire we want to put on that application.
And the service, I think, should be stressed again, that when people drive into the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, they're treated politely and they're treated like their time is extremely valuable. Your crews really go to work.
Well, we appreciate that, Zeb. I know it's hard sometimes because we get a little backed up, but we try to get everybody in and out because I've told you that before. The last thing people want to do is sit in a tire store for an hour. So we try to get people in and out, respect them and their time, and try to do a quality job on their vehicles so they don't have to come back and have peace of mind as well when they leave.
You know, the success of the Les Schwab Tire Centers all across the West, is it still growing and expanding as we speak? I mean, what is it, over 470 dealerships or something across the West?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're putting more into Denver, into the Colorado area, more in Inland Empire down, obviously, in Southern California. So it's growing, absolutely. That's another thing that Les Schwab tries to do. You know, if your child's going to college somewhere or you're traveling and you get out of town and have an issue with one of your tires, I mean, if there's a Les Schwab store there, they treat you and the warranties and whatever warranty work you want done, just like you're here at this store or at any store. So that's peace of mind versus going to a competitor. There's only 10 or 15 different dealerships around. We have almost 500 now, and that's nice to know. So if you get out of town and have any problems or even just need a rotation or a flat fix, you can pull into a Les Schwab store and they'll honor the warranty just like you're here. So.
Absolutely. This gentleman has been a good friend to the program and to my wife and I have the utmost respect for all 7 of the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Randy Wynn at Tires West, thank you for all that they do and all that you've done to help this program. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you too, Zeb. You do a great job and do a great job advertising for us and everybody else, so we appreciate you. So,
all right, sir. God bless. Have a happy rest of the summer.
Yeah, you too.
All right, thank you. There's a great guy, Randy Wynn, and he speaks for all of the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They do a phenomenal job, and I'm very proud to have them as a sponsor, main sponsor, on this program. Want to remind you real quick that the Minidoka County Fair and Rodeo going on, and today, my goodness sakes, let's see what they've got cooking already today. They're going to have at 3 p.m. this afternoon the open class poultry judging, and then tonight at 7, the Junior Rodeo. Don't forget the Junior Rodeo at 7 o'clock, second performance, and then tomorrow and Saturday night, the Wild West Open Rodeo. So lots of big things happening at your Minidoka County Fair. You be sure and stop over and enjoy. Right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studio. I'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
And a big thank you for coming back and joining us for this last half hour. And we're going to go right to the phone line. And we have with us the Deputy General Counsel for First Liberty and host of the First Liberty Briefing, Jeremy Dice. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm well, sir. Thanks for having me.
You've been on the program before, and they sent a picture of you in your bio, and I tell you what, if there was ever a picture that described and looked like an attorney should look like, you look like that attorney.
Well, thank you. I've gotten Mr. Clean before, but I appreciate that little comment and endorsement.
You're very welcome. We're going to be talking this morning about religious liberty and how basically a lot of this has been taken away, especially in our military. Kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of what we're discussing here this morning.
Well, Well, I think there's a lot of concerns that are out there right now, but I think the biggest issue right now is that this creation earlier this week by the Department of Justice of this Religious Liberty Task Force is a reminder that even though the President has made very clear that his administration is to be about protecting religious liberty for all Americans, including those who serve in uniform, and even though the Department of Justice, through the Attorney General, has sent out guidelines to the entirety of the federal agencies, it just seems to me that the Department of Justice and General Mattis, Secretary Mattis, has not received the memo. We're seeing an uptick in problems within our armed forces, whether that's Oscar Rodriguez that was told he couldn't use the words God bless America as a part of a flag-folding speech at a retirement ceremony on base, or if that's Chaplain Scott Squires, who was recommended for discipline for obeying the rules of his sending agency, the Southern Baptist Convention, as well as the rules of the Army when it comes to a same-sex couple wanting to attend a marriage retreat that he would facilitate. We're seeing these incredible upticks in threats to religious liberty on our military bases, and that shouldn't be the case.
Why is it happening? I mean, let's get to the crux of the matter, Jeremy. I mean, who is the promoting source or group that's saying, no, you can't do that, no, you can't say God bless America, no, you can't have anything of religious nature on your desk, etc.? Who really is causing the problem?
Well, look, I think it's years of a steady drumbeat by a lot of different people who have come from the left to say that the free exercise of religion is really just simply the freedom to worship. And so you had an administration previous to this one who wanted to boil everything down to that small little, really ineffective means of protecting what they called religious liberty, or what they referred to simply as the freedom to worship, as if that's something you can do in your house, maybe, if you're lucky, and you can do it in your church for now. But if you go outside of those walls, then you're going to face some problems. And that's what we're seeing. Instead, we've got an administration now who stopped suing nuns over birth control, who has made it a priority of his administration to ensure that religious liberty is protected. And he did that in an executive order a year or so ago. You've had an attorney general who issued guidelines to all federal agencies as to how to enforce religious liberty for all Americans, and that includes the Department of Defense. And now you have this religious liberty task force that is saying we're going to institutionalize the protection of religious liberty for everyone in our system of government, and that includes our service members. And so my hope is that the Department of Justice and this task force, led by Attorney General Sessions, who I think we need to give a big round of applause to, that they will visit with the DOD here very soon and sit down with Secretary Mattis and say, how do we help you make sure that these kinds of things don't happen either through ignorance at the commanding level or through intentionality, which I think we're seeing in some other cases. Let's make sure that that promise that our founding fathers gave to us so many years ago, that we would have Congress making no law concerning the free exercise of religion, is held true today in such laws as RFRA and the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, and all the guidance that is out there for even our men and women in the armed forces.
You know, you mentioned General Mattis, and you said earlier, kind of a summation of what you said, that he didn't get the memo. What does he not get as far as religious freedom and liberty and the exercising of our faith? What doesn't this general and perhaps other leaders in the military, what don't they understand?
Well, it's kind of hard to know precisely, but I can tell you through at least what we're seeing. Take Scott Squires as an example. Chaplain Squires serves down in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and there he had a same-sex couple approach his chaplain assistant. Sergeant Griffin is her name, and Sergeant Griffin simply took the information, provided it to the chaplain, and communicated back that the chaplain will be in touch. Well, it took about a week for that final touch to actually happen, because Chaplain Squires had a little surgery and it was hard to get in touch with the other people. But ultimately he said, look, my sending agency doesn't allow me to facilitate a wedding retreat or a marriage retreat for same-sex couples, and the rules of the Army permit me to make sure that you are put into the right one. And so he did all those things, and they had the opportunity to go forward with that retreat anyway without his involvement. And yet an Army investigator evaluates all that and comes to the conclusion that Sergeant Griffin, for taking that information and simply communicating, here's one thing and here's the response, she had engaged in discrimination. Well, her colonel cleared her of any problems of that, but then a couple appeals to the general on base there. General Sontag is his name, and General Sontag has simply decided that he will not decide. he's refused to make this decision because he feels like he's caught between a rock and a hard place. Now, keep in mind, this is a general whose job it is to send men and women into combat, into possibly to the end of their lives. But he can't make a simple decision about whether or not a sergeant who said, I've taken your information, here's more information, has engaged in discrimination. Instead, he has, because he's refused to make this decision, he's ended this sergeant's possibility of going to college on an ROTC scholarship called the Green to Gold program, and certainly ended her chances of becoming a commissioned officer in the United States Army. That's just absolutely outrageous that a general would refuse to make a decision and so end the career of this African-American staff sergeant who simply took information and communicated information back and was accused of discrimination in the process. That kind of thing needs to end. Not only does Staff Sergeant Griffin deserve a response, an answer by the general here, so does Chaplain Squires. And for some reason, whether he's being given bad information at the base level by the JAGs there on base that just simply don't remember First Amendment law from law school, or if he's simply intentionally deciding against Chaplain Squires or not wanting to make a decision that seems hard to him, either way, that's unacceptable. And General Mattis needs to make sure his commanders, his generals, his colonels are out there making the right decisions to protect people like Sergeant Griffin and Chaplain Squires.
Let me ask you this. Has there been an open rebuke, if you will, against soldiers or anybody in the military for openly praying or saying like this one person did, God bless America, etc.? Has there been an open rebuke not to do that anymore?
No, that's what's not clear. Look, when President Trump sent out his commitment, this executive order on religious liberty, General Sessions, Attorney General Sessions, snapped to and saluted, and he delivered. He provided that guidance. He's now he's got an initiative out there it's called Place to Worship, to emphasize zoning laws that impact religious organizations and their use of their property. He's got this task force that's now out there. You see Attorney General Sessions leading the way. He heard the directive by his president, and he has delivered. Point to something that General Mattis has done. I've seen nothing on that. And yet here you have the Commander-in-Chief saying, my priority, the priority of this administration will be to protect religious liberty for all Americans, and that includes those men and women in the armed forces. And yet I can point to very little that General Mattis has done, Secretary Mattis has done, on behalf of the DOD to make sure people like Oscar Rodriguez are not, and I mean this, you can go on our website at firstliberty.org and watch this, that he is not carried out physically from a private retirement ceremony over a controversy by that base commander of him not wanting Oscar Rodriguez to mention the words God bless America as a part of a flag-folding speech. That is not the promise of our founding fathers of the free exercise of religion. That is something entirely else, but it is not freedom.
Jeremy, are you finding in your studies that all branches of the military have developed this sense of no longer can they say anything about God or show prayer or anything else? Or is it kind of specified into one branch or two?
Well, it seems to come out of everywhere. I mean, that really comes from the top, right? So the Commander-in-Chief has said his priority is this, but it seems to stop at the Secretary level. It's at Secretary Mattis's office there. Otherwise, I think we would see very quickly subordinates to Secretary Mattis taking their directions correctly and applying it effectively. Instead, we have chaplains calling us like Chaplain Squires that are being punished. I mean, look, this guy won the Bronze Star. This is a pretty important person, a pretty good guy. And yet he's being drummed out of the military potentially because he's engaged in, quote, discrimination for following the rules of the Army. This kind of thing is unacceptable. When you have a guy like Oscar Rodriguez, who spent his entire career in the United States Air Force, actually was called back up and had to shut down his business and civilian life to go back into the armed forces to defend our nation, and yet a colonel on an Air Force base that doesn't like the fact that he's going to use God bless the United States, God bless this flag, and God bless America, it instead orders his colleagues there in uniform during this private retirement ceremony to physically carry this guy out of a private retirement ceremony. You know, I don't think someone's getting the message. And so my hope is that this Religious Liberty Task Force carries that message clearly to Secretary Mattis and the rest of the DOD, and they end this process of harming people. Look, we've had in recent days groups calling for the missing man tables that are set up on some bases to remove a Bible that is set on there as if that is somehow this grand violation of the Constitution, and instead they want to replace it with what they're calling a book of faith, whatever that is. This is unacceptable. There's no problem with that. And in fact, It's something that those who have survived time in prisoner of war camps have come back here and said, let's remind everybody that we still have people that are MIA across the country, some of which we just saw today being reinterred in the United States.
Yes. I'll ask you this again, and I just absolutely can't understand. Where did this problem originate from? Who was the cause? What was the group? What was the secular thinking? Why? Why are they so afraid of, let's use Christians in the military, that they want to come out and basically demonize and demote them?
Well, if I could point to one person, I'd point to that person and say, let's get that guy. But, I think it's a steady stream of these kind of ineffective pieces of half-truths that have come out over a period of 50 years or so, in which you've got progressive thought that says that, this whole promise of free exercise of religion that we see in the First Amendment, really that just means the freedom to worship. And so, go back in your closet in the dark recesses there. You can whisper about it in the deep reaches of your home. Maybe you can talk to one another openly right now in your church about your faith, or in your house of worship, your synagogue, or whatever. But, really, if you leave those four walls, or if you come out of the closet as a person of faith, we're going to clamp down on that. You can't talk about it in public. If you dare to go on a military base and do as much as God Bless America as a part of a flag-folding speech, uniformed members of the armed forces are going to escort you out. If you talk about this, if you obey the rules of your denomination and follow the rules of the Army about chaplains conducting marriage retreats, we're going to label you a bigot and carry you out of the armed forces because you've engaged in discrimination for following the rules that the Army has set. Someone's got something completely backwards here, and I think it needs to start at the secretary level. General Sontag at Fort Bragg, he needs to be held accountable for his refusal to make a decision and allow an aspiring, highly recommended staff sergeant to lose a full-ride scholarship to go to college and advance her career into a commissioned officer status. He's ended that through his indecision. Yeah, he can send men and women to battle and to their deaths, but he can't make a decision on this? Come on, this is not the kind of military leadership we expect of our officers.
Looking ahead into a crystal ball into the year 2019 at this same time, do you think this problem is going to be eliminated, or are we still going to be struggling with people like General Mattis in a closed-mind situation?
I certainly hope it is resolved. Look, you've got, and let's not miss this, that Attorney General Sessions, on Monday of this week, I was there in the front row. He held the summit for religious liberty at the Department of Justice. Let's not miss how important that is. You had an Attorney General of the United States hosting a lot of religious liberty leaders throughout the country, of Jewish leaders, Catholic, Sikh, Muslim, Protestant. They were all there. And this is the first summit on religious liberty that I'm aware of in our history held at the Department of Justice. Now, think about that for a second. That's a big, big deal. And you have the Attorney General himself, the heads of his divisions were there, all of them showing a commitment to religious liberty and ensuring that the United States government, so far as the Department of Justice is concerned, is going to do everything in its power to preserve and protect the religious liberty of all Americans and to enforce the laws that Congress has passed, including RFRA and LUPA and others, to make sure that people are able to use their religious property for religious purposes, that they're not discriminated against by city councils that want to keep Jewish people from meeting together for prayer. We got a case on that right now in Airmont, New York, where the city wants to keep Jewish believers to getting together in someone's garage to pray. I mean, goodness sakes, these are things that should not be happening in 2018 America, and yet that's what we see. Thank goodness we've got a guy like Attorney General Sessions that are willing to stand up and say, no, that's too much. We're going to protect and preserve religious liberty in America.
Well, yeah, also a thank goodness that the Trump campaign emerged victorious in the last election. I shudder to think what it would be like right now today if we were talking on the air if Hillary were president.
Yeah, who knows what that would look like, but I know what we have today, and we have a president and President Trump who has said my administration is going to be about protecting religious liberty for all Americans, and I'm underscoring that word all. And you got Attorney General Sessions who invites Jewish rabbis and Sikh followers, Muslim adherents, Catholic, Protestant, a huge cross-section of Americans to come to the Department of Justice to talk about ways in which his department can protect and preserve religious liberty for all Americans. That's an incredibly important message that we should never miss.
I absolutely appreciate your coming on the program to discuss this morning. I'm going to follow this story, and we've been visiting with the Deputy General Counsel for First Liberty and the host of First Liberty Briefing, Jeremy Dice. Thank you, and I mean that. Thank you for what you do, and thanks for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
You bet, sir. Thank you very much. Wow. It's great to know that we have people like Jeremy fighting for our religious freedoms, and it's just hard for me to understand or even comprehend how a soldier is going to be penalized, ostracized, and maybe criminalized for saying God bless America. In America. My goodness. Let's get a weather forecast here right now, and I'd like to have some phone calls. Our weather being brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Whoa, I'm telling you, delicious meats. So you got a barbecue planned on Saturday, right? Okay, well, listen to this. Get a hold of Scarrows Meats today. They've got marinated pork ribs for only $1.99 per pound. And they've got other barbecue packages starting at $99 each. One has tri-tips and then, of course, the beef and the pork and the chicken. Oh, my goodness, you better check it out. Great, great meat buys at Scarrows Meats. All the breakfast sausages and the bratwurst, my favorite. You'll love it. Scarrows Meats in Jerome. And right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Good morning. It's time for your 7th Ranch weather forecast. Scotty Cameron sitting in for Gina Jameson. It's still smoky. If you have respiratory issues, that is the reason today. Not going to be as hot as we anticipated. Highs around 93. Then for tonight, still a lot of smoke hanging around, a low of 58. Tomorrow, not going to be so hot. Still smoky, though. Highs around 87. Then for Friday night, areas of smoke and a low of 52. For Saturday, looking for sunshine. Highs only around 84. And Sunday, highs around 84 as well. That's your 7th Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron.
I appreciate it, Scotty. You do a great job filling in, old buddy. And don't forget, your weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats. 331 North Road, Jerome, Don Scarrow and the crew. And the meats are delicious. You've got to get a hold of them today. If, like I said, you got a barbecue this weekend, barbecue the best. The meats from Scarrows Meats. They're changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. You know, I was reading another little story. I've got to get on the air here quickly this morning, and it just shows the pettiness of the left. And somebody said to me the other day, if I tire from giving the grief to the Democrats on the left, and I said, no, it seems like they just want to keep doing more stupid things. They're spoiled brats, despite a time-honored tradition, and I'm reading this from the paper that was sent to me. Despite a time-honored tradition going back many, many years, the Democratic National Convention and all the DNC members are refusing to play the RNC at this year's annual softball game. And the Republican sources tell the Daily Caller that they were stunned when Democrats abruptly pulled out of the good-natured game between the leadership and the staffers at the opposing political organizations. Why? Why can't they play the game and bury the political hatchet and have a friendly game? And in the past, the game was an opportunity to put aside partisan bickering and come together in friendly competition. And I understand it's a couple of decades old tradition, typically ending in, some of the staffers having a drink in a nearby bar and just being friends with each other. But the Democrats this year, with their snooty elitism, said, no, we're not going to play the annual softball game. We don't want to be associated with the Republicans anymore. The whole world is nuts, folks. Nobody is trying to get along. I know some people that are trying to get along, and that's your folks at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations, like we were talking to Randy just a little bit ago. All 7 locations serving you with the best of tires. If you're going on a road trip and you're going to take the kids on a vacation before school starts, make sure that you've got safe tires. Yes, get on a road trip with the best of tires from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, many of which are on sale right now, like the Eclipse tire for your car, all-season tread, advanced noise reduction. Oh, this is a good one. And, of course, don't forget, along with all the tires, they provide the best in brake service and front-end alignments and shocks and struts, batteries. But I want to stress the word service. Absolutely, they are geared to serving you, getting you in and out and back on the road and happy. Stop in and see them today. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. That's going to be it for us this week. It's been a fun week. It's been a great week with a lot of top-notch guests. And, boy, have we got a full week planned next week, the first full week of August. And Deanne just happened to give me this little note so that if you run out of things to celebrate and you're really scraping at the bottom of the barrel, Barack Obama's birthday is Saturday. Thank you very much. Thank you for what? I'm not sure. Don't forget your Minidoka County Fair in full effect. Tonight, like I said, they're going to have the second performance of the youth rodeo. Then on Friday and Saturday night, the open Wild West rodeo at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds. And enjoy. Everybody be careful out there. And remember, we'll be back here on Monday at 8:06, right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and then streaming live on the internet, ZebBell.com with Zeb at the Ranch. And again, don't forget to order your Cow Pies and Coffee Cups blog every week. Go to ZebBell.com, put in the address, we'll get it to you, okay? Until next Monday at 8:06, on behalf of Wheels, my engineer, and myself, we wish you a great weekend. The way things were are the way things ought to be, and remember, the world needs more cowboys. See you Monday.